What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Maha, back again with another video. And as you can tell today, first and foremost, happy new year, happy 2025. Goal for this year, man, is to be consistent, and that should be your goal as well. Be consistent, not so much fighting motivation or trying to get motivation or try to be motivated, but it's all about consistency, because motivation only lasts so long. So with this specifically, I'm going to be trying to be more consistent on YouTube. I always say that, but this year I'm locking in. We're going to be posting minimum 1 video a week. Gonna push for 2 to 3 at least. And but main thing is too, I want to keep that quality up for y'all. I don't want to just start, throwing random videos here and there and the videos be boring. So today we're gonna hop back into some Chaser content. Like I said, if you've seen past previous videos on the Toyota Chaser, we did a good amount of modifications already since ownership past couple months. So I'm gonna hop into basically the top first mods I suggest you do to this car. Now this is if you buy it bone stock. If you bought one that's already done up, which is pretty frequent on these Toyota Chasers, especially if you get like the turbo models. But if you get like a completely stock N8 non-turbo Toyota Chaser Mark II Cresta, this goes for all these, honestly all these JDM cars. I'll keep it a buck. We'll keep it just straight JDM. So old school JDM cars, best first mods to do to your old school JDM cars if you're looking to buy one and build one. Alright, so hopping into interior first things first is a double din Apple CarPlay radio. This is a must, man. Now this one obviously pretty self-explanatory. If you know Apple CarPlay, it syncs your phone, you're able to see your messages, you're able to go onto Waze. If you have Waze or Google Maps, whatever you got on your phone, it will integrate whatever Apple CarPlay apps are integrated. It will pop up here. So you have your messages, and then you have SoundCloud, but SoundCloud makes you pay full price, not full price, but it makes you pay a subscription in order to get full access to their app, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Same good thing with Waze is that this also gives you real-time traffic and updated cops are around or whatever. And if you use Waze, then you know about Waze, and it still gives you the miles per hour in the corner here. Since our cars are in kilometers, this is kind of nice to have to actually know how fast you're going. But if you know how to do math, basic math or whatever, you should know how to convert that kilometers to mileage to see how fast you're going. But this car is already slowing, so I'm not even worried about speeding in this car, because I'm just keeping it along. I'm keeping up with traffic, I'm good. And also the radio does have two USB inputs. So if you want to charge your phone, it has one there outside, and then one that runs behind the radio that we have to kind of like jerry rig here in the corner. And yeah, man, but this right here is definitely a must, as well as the addition to the front facing camera. Oh, why would you need to see front of your car? Well, body kits for this car are pretty low. They sit pretty low. So if you're pulling up to a parking spot somewhere where it has a curb, someone has a potential of smashing a rear bumper, now you can actually see where you're pulling up to, especially at a car meet. Last thing you want to do is embarrass yourself. You pull up to a car meet and you hit something by accident and you look like a complete fool. So there's the front camera, and then obviously the rear camera as well. Wouldn't make sense if you have just one. So I would highly suggest you install both of these into the car. I did have an install video of the rear camera. Gonna be uploading the front camera installation soon as well. The video was pretty quick, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you know basic wiring and all that. My neighbor, shout out to my neighbor again, he helped me install this. Quality of it, very clean. I was surprised, and believe it or not, this is actually kind of better than the Infiniti Q50 radio. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna say it straight up. it's kind of crazy, but yeah, man, radio, front camera, backup camera, definitely a must in today's age of technology, man. At least with the radio stuff. Everything else, I'm just gonna keep stock here, but nice little and it kind of looks like basically it came OEM with this. Now they did have some models where it did come OEM with a double din, but all that is in Japanese, and I believe that radio doesn't even work here. And obviously it does not got Apple CarPlay and all that stuff too. So, but this brand, shout out to Toto. They actually commented on my install video, so appreciate you guys supporting the channel and looking at my videos, man. So right, staying into the interior, if this phone camera will focus on this. All right, had to adjust the settings there real quick. I hop in manual mode so I can actually see it. But this little TPMS wireless TPMS sensor here is a must for these cars because they never had TPMS back then, apparently. So it's very good to know your tire pressures, and with this particular little device, you can actually know your temperatures as well. So these little green and 98s, 97s here, well, 87, 93, 98, 98, those green numbers are for your tire temperatures. So that's actually pretty good to know as well. You know if your tires are warmed up enough to where you're ready to do pulls, and if you're gonna hook and all that. So, and this doesn't need any wires at all, because behind this plate on the windshield itself is a solar charger. So right there in the corner, it'll start charging as soon as it reads enough sunlight. So as long as you leave your car outside a couple hours, whatever, it'll be charging, and you'll be charging all the time and will never die on you. So this is definitely a must. And then when the car is off, or when you're not even near the car, it will just shut off. So very handy to have. And let me show you how it actually works. So they all come with coordinated little valve stem caps here. So they just replace your regular valve stem caps for your tires and wheels. And obviously front right, front left, rear right, rear left, they're all coordinated, and they have built-in sensors in them. So once the tire pressure goes low, it'll actually start alarming and shows you what happened, or shows you in real time what's going on in there. And it's pretty accurate because I filled it up the other day using a calibrated, known working pump, and it is pretty dead on. There wasn't even a PSI off, it was actually spot on. So to put it on, there's a little locking pin in the back here too, so no one can actually steal this. You need the tool in order to take this off, because it's kind of like it interlocks, and it kind of locks itself into place. It's not just a screw on, so it's pretty safe to have it on there. All right, now hopping into exterior modifications, I suggest you guys do. Obviously suspension, not even wheels yet, just suspension, because for whatever reason Toyota decided to make this stock height a freaking monster truck. So now I see why a lot of these chaser guys, they slam this car to the ground, and once you slam it to the ground, man, it looks freaking amazing. I'm not gonna lie, even on stock body, no body kit yet, it looks pretty aggressive, pretty clean. I'm not doing too much, and I still have a lot of clearance to go over bumps and this and that. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's sitting right now. As soon as I get the body kit, I'm gonna be able to gauge whether or not I need to lift the car back up, honestly, because the body kit, a specific body kit I have coming right now, is pretty low. It's pretty damn low. So I'm gonna might have to do some slight modifications to that and see how much I'm gonna have to adjust on the suspension. But for now, I've seen basically a lot of Instagram chasers, Toyota chasers and Mark IIs basically have the same exact fitment with the body kit, so I should be fine. But coilovers, man, shout out to BC. Yeah, man, suspension, especially on the stock suspension in this car, it's pretty floaty and bouncy. Like, I'm not saying it's uncomfortable, but if you're modifying your car and you're modifying these cars, you're not buying this car to keep it stock height. So I'm not even exaggerating. If you see my previous videos when I first got it, I was monster trucking bad, especially when I did the wheels first. So I would suggest you do the suspension before the wheels, honestly. So because the gap was probably like this much, I'm not even exaggerating, like this much, and the frame of the car, the fender was sitting like up here. So I wouldn't suggest you do wheels first. I learned that the hard way. I was a monster trucking for a good couple months until I finally decided to get the coilovers, and man, oh man, coilovers, even, yeah, looks itself, but the driving experience with the car, it changes. It's a lot more darty on the road, a lot more responsive to the steering. In any steering input, it's taking in, and it's holding the ground, and it's holding the road a lot more aggressively. So, but the main reason we do this is to lower the car. Still looks clean, honestly. Loving it. Now hopping into the front of the car here. LEDs. Let me see if I can pull it on so I can show. I mean, it's daylight, or it doesn't make sense putting my headlights on, but I'm just gonna show y'all. So stock form, if you get a non-turbo one, depending if you get like a Tourer S, I believe those still come with stock HIDs or stock LEDs, whatever it is. But if you don't have LEDs, even those stock ones, I would still just upgrade them to a good set of LEDs. These help a lot at night, not gonna lie. I haven't done the high beams yet. I'm gonna eventually do the high beams LEDs as well. I did do the yellow fog lights on the bottom, but one of them already went out because the fitment wasn't great, and I believe water already got into that housing and kind of shorted this mount already. So the body kit I already have coming doesn't even have spots for fog lights anyway, so I might just delete the fog lights. But we'll see how it looks. I might try to see if I could come up with some type of bracket, custom bracket onto that body kit, that front bumper, to see if I'll be able to retain the factory fog lights. But for right now, we might just keep it like this, man, without the fogs, and see how it runs with the body kit itself. But overall, highly recommend. I believe these are last fit LEDs on the headlights. It's either a last fit or it's Auxito. Both those brands highly recommended. They know what they're doing, and they're pretty known in the LED games. Another modification, staying in the exterior, well, it kind of goes with interior and exterior, is the tints. Now, you don't have to go as dark as I go on my cars. My Q50 has 5% all around. This is actually 3% all around with 20 in the windshield. Yeah, 20 in the windshield. My Q50 has 5% with 20 in the windshield as well. So especially if you live in a sun kind of state, Florida here, you want to protect the interior. So the best way to do that is to put some tint on there. And like, you don't want to have to, if you don't want the dark look, you could always just do a UV protecting clear tint. It will still cut all the heat and heat rejection and protect your interior as much as possible, and preserve all your components inside the car. Because don't forget, those cars are pretty old, so last thing you want is for interior pieces start cracking, seats start getting messed up and stuff because of the heat. And yeah, I mean, but granted, these cars still holding up, and depending on who had the car before, like I said, whoever had my car before took very good care of it. Other than the paint, obviously the top of the car, but that's basically on all these cars. That's inevitable. That's gonna happen. So majority of this car, whoever had it, took very good care of it. I have a feeling it was a garage too, because there's not too much sun damage. Honestly, there's like barely any sun damage, just the clear coat issue. But other than that, the tints, and I feel like it, depending on the color of the car, especially white, it will make their color pop a lot more, give a lot more contrast. Depending if you have like a dark color, you won't see it as much, but on a brighter color car like white, silver, or something like that, it will bring out the essence and the body lines a lot more with that dark tint to offset the contrast of the car as well. And especially with the wheels, and then obviously I did a carbon fiber hood too as well, so that kind of brings it out even more. But yeah, tints is a must, man. I don't know how some of y'all people be driving around with fish bowls. I don't like being seen. I really don't. Like, if you see me go to the car, yeah, but whose car is that? I don't know. The car is clean though, right? Yeah. That's my that's my take on that. But yeah, tints definitely a must. And last but not least is the taillights here. Now, this is subjective to personal opinion. It's like, well, anything, but what color you like with this and that. So I specifically have a Toyota Chaser S1 series. So the S1 series, if you follow, when I first got the car, it had different taillights to where the red parts were at the top and bottom, and then the silver part here where the turn light and the reverse light is in the middle of those two red spots. I particularly like the S2 look. So the S2 look here kind of brings it a little bit more subtle look. So it has the red part at the bottom, and then the top half is the blinker and reverse light. So to me, I feel like that looks a little better, and especially I did the LED upgrade there too. So as soon as you hit the brakes, it's instantly on, not that halogen where it kind of like slowly goes on and slowly comes off. A little bit more for safety, but definitely a must when when upgrading. Like I said, if you want like the S2s, so the S1s, they have LEDs in both options, the different styles in both options. And ever since I got them, I've changed the rear end a lot, especially when I do this rear bumper now. It's gonna make the rear end look a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, man, I'm really going for an aggressive look on this car. So as you can tell by the wheels and the suspension setup, it's kind of already taking shape. I will add wheels onto this list here. Now these are replica R34 Kanze wheels, tandems specifically, 18-inch by 9.5 plus 22 all around. That seems to be the go-to setup for the Chaser, and I can see why, because it gives a nice little aggressive, wider look without being too aggressive and too in your face. So it kind of, you know, basically follows the stock body pretty good. But in the fronts, I'm still rubbing a little bit. I could either go down a tire size, but what I think I'm gonna do is get a slider wider fender. So I'm looking at the 20mm fenders to add on to here. It's gonna be a whole replacement fender, and then it has added little vents here. A little bit more of like aggressive styling, especially with the rest of the body kit. I feel like it will flow pretty nicely, especially with the front bumper I have coming as well. So you know, that's a slight little poke out. I'm not gonna go crazy like how some of these other Chasers on Instagram and Facebook go crazy on, man. I've seen some of them, they cut up them fenders and they go crazy on the wide body. But just me, I just like a little OEM plus look, you know, a little wider than OEM, a little bit more aggressive than OEM is what I'm going for. Now obviously it's gonna be OEM plus as soon as I do that damn body kit, because that's not OEM, but you know, keep it a little bit more subtle, you know. But wheels, definitely, because stock wheels on this car are ugly. They're like ugly Toyota Camry, you know. They come on like those older Camrys from like 90s and stuff. It is a 90s car, so you can't really fault them for that. That was the style back then. But I would suggest you do, you know, like I said, I'm going crazy now. Eventually I will go with some OG real Japanese wheels, like some you know, work wheels. I'm debating either work wheels, maybe Kawamis. I was looking at NKs as well, but when that time comes, we'll focus on that. But right now, next on the list will be getting this body kit onto the car, and then after the body kit, we're gonna be focusing on getting this JZ swapped in as soon as possible. So expect that coming. Almost forgot one more thing in the interior here is a quick release steering wheel, man. Now this could be a hit or a miss for some people because it's cooler, it gives more of a, you know, race car vibes to the car, but keep in mind this does delete your airbag that comes into the OEM steering wheel. Now if you don't care about that, you know there is other safety things, you know, there's airbags here in the doors and everything, and you know, but if you're really kind of sketched out about not having a proper airbag in your steering wheel, then don't do it. But say you do again a car accident, one thing to keep in mind, if you do this, I would highly recommend do a quick release, because you can easily remove the steering wheel and get out the car as fast as possible. You have a lot more leg room, you have a lot more room in general for getting in and out of the car. This car is a pretty tight fit. If you're a little wider than me, then you might have issues getting in and out of this car. But like I said, it gives a nice little vibe into the interior here, and a little bit more of like a, you know, JDM, keeps that JDM kind of vibe going. So, and every time I take this car, I don't care, I always remove the steering wheel when I get out of this car. If I'm going on a grocery, I still remove it. Remove that, and it also gives a little of security as well. So I remove the steering wheel, and then I put this little locking thing over the hub. So someone comes in the car, they have a wheel, they can't get into it because of the hub lock, or they can't even use the wheel. Like sometimes I'll leave the wheel inside here too as well. Oh, I'm sweating, man. It's hot. It was like 40 degrees last night. Now it was 80 degrees again. This is Florida, man. Freaking Florida. But yeah, man. So like I said, I personally like it. I've always liked how this look in all those other race cars. So, and like I said, this car is gonna be, it's gonna be the fun car. It's gonna be the fun build, man. It's a 2JZ. That's all you need to know, is a 2JZ. So that being said, thank y'all for watching. If you made this far in the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I post a video. Good luck to y'all on your goals for 2025. We gotta crush them. We gotta be consistent. Like I said, consistency is the word of the year, man. Consistency. Screw motivation. Consistency. Keep consistent. No matter if you're mad, you're sad, you're happy, you whatever mood you in, we gotta get it done still. We still gotta get it done, and we gotta get our goals in check, man. We gotta make sure our body's right, our mind's right, life is right, financial is right, cars are right. You know, I had to throw the cars in there, but we gotta make sure we're focusing on ourselves this year, man. Not too many people like to, you know, put others ahead of themselves, and like I said, and granted, if you are in a position to where you taking care of somebody, or you got family, you got kids or whatever, yes, I'm not saying to neglect them, but really try to make sure you're in a good solid state of physical fitness, physical and mental fitness to take care of the said people, man. Because if you're not in that position, well, how are you going to be able to take care of them in a proper way, man? So make sure you taking care of yourself. Self-love is the key for this year, and consistency in everything we're doing. And if we're gonna say we're doing it, we're gonna keep our word and we're gonna do it. So with that being said, man, always remember, repetition creates precision, y'all. Let's go.